Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is me. I'm appearing on camera now for various reasons. I decided I'm going to give it a try, see if it helps grow the channel. Apparently it helps with engagement and YouTube prefer it if creators are more present. So I'm going to give it a go. Also, someone took one of my videos down. A family member contacted me of a person I did a video on. I won't go into it in case they see this. So it was really surreal. It wasn't any of Tupac's relatives. It was someone else that I did the video on. You can probably guess because a lot of you really enjoyed the video and it's been taken down. So you can probably guess which one I'm talking about. But it was like speaking to the relative of a legend. You know, they actually called me personally. But, you know, it was disappointing as well because I do believe they had no right whatsoever to take my whole video down. If there was any clips that they felt were that weren't under fair use, I didn't even use any of their stuff. I used, other than a 5-second clip of the trailer of their documentary. So I was excited about their documentary coming out, which for some reason still hasn't come out. Yeah, that's all I used. And I used loads of photos that have been on the internet since the 90s or the early 2000s. And my whole video was taken down. But again, because this is the person's relative, I just thought, let me just respect the fact that they don't want me doing, you know, long video on their relative. So they said I could do like a short one, re-upload something shorter, but, you know, I just decided against it. I have no idea how this is turning out, so bear with me. But let's get into the video today. Today I want to look at the killing of Jam Master Jay, a legendary DJ of Run DMC. Jam Master Jay, real name Jason William Menzel, was a DJ of the legendary hip-hop group Run DMC. They became one of the biggest selling hip-hop groups of all time and paved the way for many other artists. They were credited for bringing hip-hop into the mainstream. Their music style evolved over the years, and that had a lot to do with Jam Master Jay, the DJ and the heart of the group. He was born in Brooklyn, and his musical roots began at an early age. He learned multiple instruments, such as bass, guitar, and trumpet. He performed in church, and regularly hooked up with other musicians in his local area, and he played in various bands. So as if playing instruments wasn't enough, he soon learned the art of turntablism, quite different from the DJing we see today. So he learned how to create new music by mixing and manipulating sound. DJing has come a long way since then, and today looks completely different. It's a lot more lightweight too. Jam Master Jay himself spoke about the changes in technology and how DJing changed over the years. He said, "The technology is so far gone. It's just like back in the day you needed a suitcase. Just to have a cell phone, the battery was so heavy, it was like carrying a gallon of soda around with you all day." Jay attended the Andrew Jackson High School in Queens. He was known for playing in parks. Later, he would play in bars and would host his own parties. Just after graduating from high school, he officially joined the group that would go on to become Run DMC. He joined Joseph Simmons, aka Rev Run, and Daryl DMC Daniels. As well as DJing, he also played instruments such as the keyboards, bass, and drums. Run DMC were the first hip-hop group to achieve a gold status record, as well as the first to achieve a platinum record, which they had with King of Rock in '85, and Raising Hell became the first multi-platinum hip-hop record. Their collaboration with Aerosmith, where they performed Walk This Way, was one of the most iconic collaborations in both hip-hop and rock music. The song was a cover, but charted higher than the original. Run DMC were the first group to highlight the importance of the MC and the DJ relationship, probably inspiring other groups such as Salt and Pepper. In '97, their song It's Like That was remixed by another producer. It topped the charts in 12 different countries. In the UK, it was the biggest selling single of '98. It's like that, it's just the way it is. Huh. It was like number one for 6 weeks. I remember that time. It was a good time. Now for the sad part. 2002 would be the year that would change the group forever, with the loss of Jam Master Jay. They would never recover from this and disband soon after. On October the 30th, 2002, Jam Master Jay was shot and killed in his own recording studio in Jamaica, Queens. The murder was said to be a drug deal gone wrong, and it once again brought hip-hop music into the spotlight, where many questioned whether the lifestyle promoted in the music was spilling over into real life, and the effects that this had on its listeners and the younger generation, especially as this was just a few years after the deaths of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. One publication quoted Chuck D, who said, "I think the culture has been mishandled by people who have benefited financially by putting out violence. They found a way to live well from it, but haven't respected the responsibility that comes with it. Run DMC is our Beatles. We talk about the gigantic losses music suffered in the 90s with the deaths of Kurt Cobain and Biggie and Tupac. Run DMC influenced all of them. Think on that. And Jam Master Jay is the battery that made Run DMC work. He's like Charles Oakley was to the Knicks. He wasn't the main guy, but he was the heart. He was the one who made them puff their chests out a little more." Jam Master Jay was only 37 years old when his life was cut short. It would not be for another 18 years until arrests would be made and justice would finally be in sight. The case became one of New York City's most notorious unsolved murders. In 2020, 2 suspects were arrested for the murder of Jam Master Jay. They were publicly identified as Kyle Jordan, 36, and Ronald Washington, 56. So that means Kyle would have just been a teenager at the time of the murder. Ronald Washington actually went on the run soon after Jay's death. During this time, he committed a string of robberies that were drug-related. He's also up on charges for those. And that's what helped to lead to his arrest and linked him to the murder of Jay. He is actually serving time in federal prison for his other offences, but now faces trial for the murder of Jay. He was named as a suspect back in 2007, but there were no further developments for years, decades even. And this is believed to be because nobody talked. Jam Master Jay actually helped Ronald. He allowed him to stay on his couch when he had nowhere else to go. He was crashing on his couch in the days leading up to the murder. So here's what court papers revealed about the night of that murder. On October the 30th, 2002, Jay was in the studio working. Ronald walked in, waving a gun around. He ordered people to lay on the ground. At the same time, Kyle Jordan walked in. He is believed to have been the trigger man. He shot Jay. He was struck in the head. The prosecution said, quote, "Washington provided cover for his associate to shoot and kill Jason Menzel. Jay was shot once in the head by a .40 caliber bullet, believed to be held by Kyle Jordan, who at the time was said to be wearing a ski mask. It's believed that Jay's family were unhappy about him associating with Ronald and helping him out, allowing him to stay on his couch and everything. What's even more sad is that Jay was killed in his own studio in Hollis, the neighborhood where he grew up. He left behind a wife and 3 children, his group, and fans all over the world. Jay's mother said, quote, "I've admitted to myself, he's gone. I don't dwell on how he left. Sadly, she also had to endure the loss of another son. Jay's older brother Marvin passed away at the age of 63 in 2018 due to complications from sickle cell. It reminds me of Nipsey Hussle's murder, killed in his hometown at his place of business, a business that was set up to help people in the community, to help people who had a past, who were unable to get jobs elsewhere. Another tale of a jealous associate taking the life of a talented musician who impacted their community and way beyond.
On October 30th, 2002, nearly 20 years ago, Mr. Jordan and Mr. Washington walked into a music studio in Queens where Mr. Mizell and others were working, essentially, and hanging out. And they walked in and they murdered him in cold blood. It was important to us then, and it remains extremely important to us now to bring justice for the victim and his family and his friends and the community that cared so much about those events.
An incident that happened in 2002 being solved 18 years later. The relentless pursuit to bring this case to justice is absolutely incredible. Me being a native of Queens and being a big fan of Run DMC and Jam Master Jay, making this arrest was very, very important to me.
Acting United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Seth Ducharme, said, "This is a case about a murder that for nearly 2 decades was gone unanswered." Now, as the suspects were arrested in 2020, you can imagine that the case has actually been delayed for a while with everything that's been going on. So we're still waiting to see when the trial date is and what the outcome is going to be. New information has come in while I was editing this video. As reported by allhiphop.com, a 2-week trial is scheduled to begin on September the 26th. Jury selection is expected to take place on September the 22nd. In the event of any C-19 related issues, the trial will be pushed back to February 2023. But hopefully that will not be the case, and the trial can be concluded, and Jam Master Jay's family will get the justice they have waited so long for. But the last information to come out about the case was a document released by allhiphop.com stating that Carl Jordan plans to present an alibi that he claims is proof that he wasn't even in the area at the time of the murder. It also came out that the prosecutors have decided not to pursue the death penalty. The motive for the murder was said by prosecutors to be because Jay planned on excluding the suspects from a huge drug deal, said to be a multi-kilo, multi-state narcotics transaction. One rapper who was thrilled to hear the news of the arrests was LL Cool J. LL Cool J toured with Run DMC, and they mentored him. He was very close to the group. He said, "I'm just so happy that they got indicted on that, and I'm just glad that they're one step closer to a conclusion. It was an absolute tragedy. Jay will always be forever respected by me. Jay was just a guy that I always had admiration for, that I looked up to as a big brother, who I argued with, who I talked music with, who I butted heads with in a good way, who taught me. I went on tour with Run DMC. They put me under their wing. So let's hope that this case is finally concluded and we get to see justice done very soon for the sake of the family, his colleagues and fans. I can't believe it's been 20 years. These hip-hop murders go unsolved because nobody talks. So maybe that needs to change. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for weekly videos. Press the bell and all of that good stuff. You know I read all the comments, so please leave your thoughts below. Were you aware that the case went unsolved all this time? And I'll see you for the next one.